glad you guys are here. And we are discussing, the topic for the discussion is better layer 1s or supporting layer 2s. With me, of course, on my right, I've got Jake, Crypto King. All right, welcome round. Let's have a big round of applause for our managers, guys. And I've got Pradeep from Metabricks. All right, so we're going to throw it to Ram first. Ram, opening comments on our question today. Better layer 1s or supporting layer 2s?
Good evening, Manada. So I am Prasad from Shardeum. Shardeum is a EVM-based layer 1 solution, so it's a blockchain basically. And I'm part of the marketing team. And thanks for the organizer for inviting me. And hi to all the gentlemen here. See, for that one, like I myself from layer 1 solution, but keeping that aside, at this moment, the entire adoption is driven by the entire layer 2 solutions at this point of time. So they are getting us a good number of exposure to the entire Web2 space, and all the major brands are getting into the ecosystem. So that major onboarding is happening through the layer 2 solutions at this point of time. Given the scenario, like we are like Web3 is in a very early stage, it needs mass players like this who can get us mass customer base to the ecosystem. So with that, at this moment, layer 2 is the key thing to drive the adoption and everything, but in future or long term, layer 1 will be the one, always will be the go-to solution for everything, because it can be layer 2, layer 3 or anything it can be, but layer 1 will be the extreme final solutions that will be better for the future.
So how do you define in the long term that you said in the long term layer 1 is the solution, but what's your definition of long term?
Long term, it's the mainstream adoption, right? So that minimum set of million users, the unique active wallets, I will say. So that numbers has to be on the rise, and the industry have to mature. I would say minimum 2 to 3 years at least to get to that maturity level.
Okay. Opening comments for you, Krishna?
Ideally, you see, there is a huge dilemma that is going on in L1s and L2s. So anyone who can solve this problem of decentralization, security and scalability is the winners of this game. So going ahead, there are a few L1s that are scaling like Polygon is there, but it is not completely decentralized as what I feel. It's in some kind of a semi-decentralized state where users still have access. See, Shardeum is one of a kind of a L1 who seem to have solved that kind of problem where scalability is provided, in the same time where security is also there, and also when it comes to decentralization, Shardeum is one of those guys. That's in my point, there should be some kind of sufficient decentralization, but if in number of user growth and user acquisition for an L1 or any application that is there, it should be sufficient enough so that the layer doesn't go down or the blockchain doesn't go down again.
So who's doing it right according to you currently?
It's hard to say. As of now, there's Ethereum that has been there for as long as we know, from 2017, even though after the layer of their network outage is there. Solana is there, quite promising with the proof of history and stuff. But what I feel for the next big L1 that's going to be out there is going to be, of course, Shardeum, which is putting out its work for solving the blockchain dilemma.
All right, Jay?
So I think this question is pretty easy to answer, because layer 2s only exist because layer 1s are valid. You can't use Ethereum with a $50 or $100 transaction fee. So layer 2s can't exist. Matic is obviously the most notable layer 1, the most notable layer 2, and that solved the problem of Ethereum scaling and cost to use. So if Ethereum fixes what's wrong with it, there's no longer a need for a layer 2. So my direct opinion is layer 1s are relevant. Obviously, they're what the entire crypto ecosystem is built on. But layer 2's relevancy is only determined by layer 1's values. Right now, they're too slow, they're too expensive, they're not easy to use. So layer 2s were built on top of layer 1s. in the long run, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, whenever Ethereum and the layer 1s fix what's going on, there's no longer need for layer 2. So I think layer 2s will eventually be obsolete.
Also, layer 2 is building on Ethereum, for example, are banking on Ethereum continuing what it has done in the past. There could be superior layer 1s that actually come out as well. So where does that leave the layer 2s, building on a certain layer 1?
Of course. So obviously something like Matic that's clearly built on Ethereum. Other layer 1s are coming out. As you said, Shardeum, Solana, Binance Smart Chain. All these layer 1s are superior in the essence of scalability, the cost of use. Basically every metric you can measure in comparison to Ethereum. Ethereum is just the oldest and most adopted. So as more layer 1s come out that are scalable, that are cost effective, that are secure, there's not going to be a need for layer 2s. The problem with crypto is it's fairly slow. It's fairly slow to advance blockchain. It's very slow to launch a new blockchain and have it be adopted. So in the meantime, layer 2s will prevail only because layer 1s take so long to be adopted or be advanced enough to be adopted in the manner that they rival the layer 2.
Alright, Pradeep?
Yeah, I feel like so layer 1 would also has this advantages that it makes sense when you have certain transactions and all. But I feel right now most important as we are going to the metaverses and things, interoperability is also one of the big aspects. So the tokens or the layers which are interoperable, which is easily interoperable to the multiple instances like Polkadot, how it can be easily interoperable to multiple metaverses and all. I feel those kind of tokens are maybe valued. And so talking about layer 2, I'm slightly disagreeing because the founder of Ethereum itself, he said that Polygon will not be, we cannot remove Polygon, right? Even if the Ethereum 2.0 comes. So he's just quite sure that there, with the layer 1, there should be a centric layer 2, so which can back them up in terms of making them more scalable, more adaptable. That's what I feel.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned DOT because I'm big on DOT because obviously Gavin Wood is one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and Gavin Wood saw certain problems in Ethereum in its ability to scale and envision something which would transcend those issues, and came up with Polkadot, which is a layer 0, and which is the highway, right, before the streets and the shops are built, and decentralized completely. Also Kusama, which is the Canary solution, which is the innovation driver on which things are going to be tested before they actually move to Polkadot. Also layer 0. So what if you bring, so then how are the layer 2s going? They have to do something totally different or add something which and also be built on the right layer 1 to survive. So how does a layer 2 make a good bet? Because what it's being built on may be shaky to start with. Like Solana, okay, we know what's happened to Solana currently, and we know the element of centralization in Solana already, and VC money in Solana, and we know what's happened to Solana in the past 3 weeks. So. Your thoughts?
Ideally, yes. What you told exactly resonates. So in an N1, you don't face these kinds of problems. When you're an L2, either L1 can scale ideally going ahead. When you're an L2 also, you need to create certain SDKs, certain applications and certain utilities for the problem that exists now, so that there is a user retention on the chain, and every day to day, the user development is happening essentially. If you consider Polygon, it's an L2 solution on Ethereum, right? They have a lot of things that are going. They have Polygon top, they have Polygon ID, a decentralized identity where essentially a composable self-sovereign identity, so that they can showcase their real self, their physical selves on a digital world. So ideally, what L2, if they want, ideally L2 has to exist with L1 also scaling, their parent L1 also scaling. They should be able to give utilities that are pre-existing and adopted, that are easily adoptable for everyone.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest issue. The reason why L2s came into existence in the first place is to solve the problem of scalability, right? So let's talk about that. What do you think are the superior layer ones at this point of time that you think have the chance to stand the test of time? And when you say long term, 2 to 3 years is not really a long term in crypto, but let's get your views on superior layer ones at this point.
As you mentioned, the basic problem is with the blockchain trilemma, so where major issues with the scalability. Currently, the one, of course, I'll be a little biased here. So the current layer one, what are the solutions first of all? What do they have? What do they propose? Right from Vitalik, Shardeum is the one going to be the future of scalability, and with that, the initial layer ones that have incorporated sharding, so and they were able to achieve those higher TPS at this moment. But still, there is a limitation. So that limitation is limited to creation of this auto creation of these sharding. So that's the thing. So one that Shardeum aims to resolve is through a dynamic state sharding, which is going to be the unique solution and the first solution in the entire blockchain world, which is going to help this particular scalability part by maintaining the security and the decentralization, especially the decentralization. So here the scaling is going to be a pure linear scaling, and that is going to solve the entire issues of scalability, keeping the nodes and the decentralizations as much as it can. Like one final example is the scaling is going to happen at the node level, so that the higher the number of nodes, the higher the scale, the transaction per second is going to be there, which is going to be help them to scaling at the same time. The decentralization is maintained by having more number of nodes. One simple example is tomorrow if there is going to be 100k nodes in the ecosystem, that is going to be like 100k TPS will be the high throughput. So that's the kind of level it is going at this moment. So of course, I'll be biased here. So Shardeum is the one that is going to be one. Apart from it, the current other layer ones, if they are going to solve their basic problems. So Solana trying to achieve that, but the black coach is the one that is pulling them down. But if that is solved, then definitely they can be in the race. Ethereum, of course, the merge we are waiting. Once the merge happens, of course, there's a dependability on. They clearly mentioned scalability. They are going to leave it to the layer 2s, but at least on the security and the other part, they will try to solve it. But let's look at them. But for me, it's only one solution at this moment.
You're saying there's only one solution for you at this moment is the one you're working on. You're saying there's nothing else that exists in crypto which is doing what you're doing.
It's not like only one. See, in crypto world, blockchain world, it's like there's no clear winner or something. Here there's no competition at all. It's going to be collaborations only. Even though I say Shardeum, it is different. It is an EVM based solution. Where does that EVM based come? It's Ethereum. Ethereum is the for everything. So based upon that, this solution is coming today. So at this moment, we are trying to better Ethereum, but tomorrow someone will try to better than the Shardeum. So that's how the ecosystem grows, and that we will be competing with each other, and we'll try to grow the ecosystem together rather than competing among ourselves. So that's how it is. Like, so why I said about us is it's because of the blockchain dilemma solution. So that particular part, that particular decentralization I mentioned in that sense. It's not like we are the only one or something. It's going to be like we are going to grow together. We will be achieving that level.
Okay, Jake, what's the superior level ones for you?
Well, I have a hard time with anyone coming on stage and speaking about the project directly as the only solution, because there's not one solution to any problem. And the metrics that define what makes the best layer 1 or the best layer 2, they change constantly. But in my opinion, beyond the tech, it's the user base. If no one's using a blockchain, it doesn't matter how fast it is, how cheap it is, any of that. It's got no value, because user base determines value, not the tech, because new tech will come out next week. So if you can't adopt user base from other blockchains, it it doesn't matter if you're the newest tech, it doesn't matter if you're the fastest tech, it doesn't matter if you're the cheapest tech. You have to have a user base. And right now, Ethereum has the biggest user base as far as active users that are spending huge amounts of money. I mean, you can compare it to wallets and Solana and all these other stuff. No other projects have $200,000 NFTs in the bear market. No other projects have this type of money being thrown around like it's monopoly money. So in my opinion, Ethereum is clearly the best layer 1 to date because the most people are still working on it. It's been around 5+ years, and all these new projects that are popping up to compete with it, they're Ethereum killers. There's a reason the term Ethereum killer came to be. It's because Ethereum is number 1. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the Ethereum killer. It would be the Shardeum killer, or the Solana killer, or the DAO killer. Ethereum's already been claimed and kinged number 1, which is why it's the Ethereum killer that's referred to anything that competes with Ethereum. So Ethereum's the answer.
So how do you see Ethereum going forward from here?
I'm hoping it gets cheaper. Otherwise, it's only going to be used by extremely wealthy individuals. But I was trading a year and a half ago, making trades that were $300 or $400 a trade on Uniswap, and now it's like $1.50, $2. So I understand that $1.50 to $2 is still a lot of money to a lot of people, but going from $300 to $400 a trade to $1, they're improving. So as the improvements continue to move along, I imagine the cost per transaction will continue to decrease.
Okay, let's stay on Ethereum for a bit, yeah, since it's in pole position at this particular point of time. What do you think of the future of Ethereum, where it stands, where it's going to go from here? Is it going to retain its position? Is new tech going to be positioned? It's basically positioning, isn't it? When they say Ethereum killer, what they're essentially saying is the next big Ethereum, right? So let's talk about Ethereum first before we talk about what has the potential to be as close to Ethereum or even better than Ethereum in the future.
I completely agree that Ethereum is always there, and because it's all about user base, what you have. And as compared to this market also, Ethereum has a huge amount of base there. So like too many people, and even if you see big companies, whenever they create NFTs or dApps or different sets of projects, their first choice is Ethereum. So I feel the Ethereum has, the first thing is Ethereum has visibility. That Ethereum is something we can use somewhere. So other than different cryptocurrencies, like NFTs, the different projects, the dApps, and these things are going on. So I feel Ethereum is always the number 1.
You think there's no one that's going to come close to Ethereum? In terms of, let's say, you think Ethereum is going to stay number 2 for a long period of time?
Yeah, so only challenge for Ethereum is Ethereum 2.0.
So what is the challenge with Ethereum 2.0? It's still Ethereum, right? Yeah, exactly. So you're saying Ethereum is going to stay number 2?
Yes.
It's never going to be Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is like limited. It's an all market goes.
It's a question.
Yeah.
It's a question because there are some people who think there's a potential for Ethereum to be number 1 at some point of time. You think that's ever going to happen? Yeah? Jake, tell us. What do you think?
Yeah, personally, I think Ethereum will flip Bitcoin eventually. If you look at any of the different market cycles, I was in Pokemon for a while, as crazy as that sounds. But before Pokemon, there was a company called Magic the Gathering, and the Black Lotus was the most expensive card, $250,000 card. Everyone thought that was the most expensive card in the world forever. And then Pokemon became popular. And then the price of the Charizard passed the price of the Black Lotus, which I know I'm sounding crazy right now, I'm sorry. But a second card came along that surpassed it. And so, yes, I completely agree. Bitcoin was the first. It was the standard. It's the airman bag. It was the Patek Philippe watch. It's what everyone knows when they think of crypto. But who owns an airman bag? Who owns the Patek Philippe watch? It's not for the masses. So when we talk about total market cap, the total market cap of Ethereum, based on users and the utility, I think it'll pass Bitcoin eventually.
Are there any dangers to Ethereum not doing as well as it's done in the past 5 years? Krishna?
See, ideally, I want to answer a question which you asked previously. Why Ethereum exists as of now and why it is going to be the number 1 blockchain currency at least. So, Ethereum has been here for the past 5 years. So, first of all, why it came into existence was there was not a feasible network where you could develop things in. there was not a easier developer-friendly environment with BTC didn't also, of course, provide any kind of usability like that, where we could build apps on the network, ideally. So Ethereum came into existence to provide something of users who had complete access, it was self-sovereign and complete freedom to create anything, to unleash their creativity ideally. And they worked on things like how easier user access and easier adoption for this, because essentially getting to know as a developer, Solidity as a language is quite easier to learn and quite easier to interact with and build things on. So based on that, it became an existing blockchain, and it has this kind of users now. Ideally, if Ethereum still wants to stay as a number one thing, they have to create applications that have social impact, and there are a great number of users out there who can basically get benefit out of it. They are still the prominent elements out there, and they will be. But let me tell you, all blockchains, there is no number one as a concept. Everyone is built for a utility. So ideally, there is a space for everyone in a utility what they are solving, the problem they are solving.
Yeah. So let's go back to 2017 when Ethereum was between $40 and $80, right? So someone who invested in Ethereum in 2017 between $40, close to $40, made 100 times their money in November 2021. If they bought at 45 and sold at 4,300 or something, they made 100 times their money by just buying and holding and not tracking the markets every single day, which is significant, super significant. And let's go into why Ethereum was successful through that bear market, because of developer activity, because things were being built on Ethereum, right? So why were things being built on Ethereum and not on anything else? Why did Ethereum survive that period and not anything else?
Well, the last bear market, Ethereum was the first actual working smart contracts. So during the bear market, when people were building, they didn't really have another choice of where to build. And then once Ethereum became so costly to use and all these smart contracts and platforms were released into society, then it became too costly to use. You had projects minting on top of each other, and Ethereum can't mint more than a specific number of NFTs per block. Well, you've got 5 projects trying to mint 10,000 NFTs over a 5-minute period. The whole network gets congested, and you're minting at $2,000 a piece. It's insane. So in that sense, it doesn't work. But the reason it survived was because builders kept building. And because builders kept building, eventually people realized that it might not be cost effective for what they're building to build on Ethereum, which is why some projects pivoted to Binance Smart Chain. Some pivoted to Solana. Some will pivot to Shardeum. They'll pivot based on what type of user they're trying to attract. But right now, Ethereum is the gold standard for the highest end user.
Yeah, but Ethereum has already shown what can be done and already has the developer activity and also already has how many thousands of projects on it? Does anybody know? How many thousands of projects does Ethereum has on it currently?
Yeah, I guess one. I don't know exactly.
Okay, so if we look at Ethereum to have carved a path, they've let's now talk about if we look at the future not as a competition like you said, but if we look at the future as multi-chain, where several chains are going to coexist. And chains that solve a particular problem or offer something of value are definitely here to stay. And who are doing something different as solving a problem are going to be here to stay. In your opinion, who else exists besides Ethereum as a superior L1 currently, which is not, I'm not asking you who's going to be Ethereum killer, but who's going to be here for the long run?
Just before that, I will never say Ethereum is a competition. So they used to say in India, when we compare something, Ethereum is an emotion, I would say. So the entire adaptations and everything is driven by Ethereum. And in future, even next 10 years or 20 years, whatever it's going to be L1, no one can separate Ethereum from that one. It will be a EVM based because of the base or foundation it has built at this point of time. When I say Shardeum, even it is an EVM based. So tomorrow any new change that is going to excel or something, it will be definitely EVM based or it's going to be Ethereum. So the Ethereum base will be always there if they want to excel, because that's the kind of ecosystem and foundation has been laid upon already. Now for the next question, so who is the one, the current L1? From my opinion, it is going to be Solana.
But Solana is pretty centralized and has a lot of VC money.
Yeah. I'm just keeping it one because nobody is solving the centralized at this point of time.
There were at least 3 or 4 times this year Solana has gone offline as well. So people were cracking jokes about Solana like office hours. You know, it's like 9 to 5. So that's not supposed to happen technically.
Exactly.
So you've got to be aware of there are warning bells as well. So there there may be builders who are happy to build on Solana, but there are warning bells, as is currently evident from the state of Solana as well.
Go on. I meant only the centralization part. Like now, the centralization part is even available with all the L2s as well. So no one is able to solve that one. So let that be solved. That decentralization, that's why the issue is except for Ethereum. So is the core at the peak. So with that, only I am keeping the scalability metrics in the L1 level. So that scalability is at this moment is only solved right now. Even though the reason issues and everything that has to be fixed, of course.
Okay, but names besides Ethereum, superior L1s, besides Solana, anything else?
Found these two.
Okay, cool.
I want to add.
Yeah, go on.
I want to add on that. So in the blockchain, I don't think so. It's an Ethereum superior. But apart from the blockchain, you talk about hash mapping and all. I guess Hedera has a good future, HEDR, the coin, because I feel so people somewhere in the future, and there are like lots of investment also going on in the Hedera. Due to some environmental things and all, but due to this new technology of hash mapping, people are quite interested into Hedera, first one. And talking about this Ethereum, so the centralization part, so I guess now in the market, so there has to be there will be 2 things from now on. First one will be people who will move towards decentralization more, and for a few people who will move towards the trustness and the authenticity part. So I feel for that, I guess like maybe after this FTX happened, there is too much going on in the US market also, that this government has to come up with the new bill, which is a crypto bill where there has to be centralized body. So like that's why like people, if you see, people has very good trust on Binance token. Like if you see the volume growth and all, so Binance, because even if that's a centralized, but people has believed that okay, my money will be there. So I feel those kind of concepts in the future will come.
Yes, but then if you notice that there are men of integrity who created the things that we've discussed so far, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's BNB as well, they've demonstrated they are men of integrity, and in a space which has just been hit by the biggest rug pull in the recent past, and where rug pulls are the norm, and which is also the wild west, and which has scamsters and which has sharks, as Jake and I were discussing yesterday. The men of integrity are actually the ones who are keeping crypto alive, because otherwise nobody would have any faith in the system and it would all collapse, right? So, Krishna, your views?
See, ideally, I just want to answer you based on something else.
Yeah.
See, ideally, when you talked about the scoring elements that are going to exist, if you see based on user engagement on an L1, the highest ones now are drawn, where ideally nothing goes around. So we can't judge a L1 based on the availability or based on how users are working on it and what is it. What are the projects, what are the utilities that is being built, that are, those things are going to matter to hold on to this kind of tech stack or this kind of application that is out there. Ideally, these kinds of people are very few to recognize in this space. They are here, but they are building. They are creating utilities, and blockchain is not creating some. There is an existing problem. They are solving those problems. They are not ideally answering to somewhat or creating a new problem statement answering those. See, generally in a common man's eyes, there are 5 problems every day that a man sees. That is, one is cost, second is privacy, third is security, fourth is transparency, fifth is there should be no single point of failure for a network, because ideally you would depend on it for your day-to-day transactions or for anything ideally if you depend on it. These all 5 problems are being solved by the people who are running this industry essentially now. If you are able to solve all these 5 problems, you are here to stay. And you are here to create value for all the other individuals.
Where do you think Cardano stands here?
Sorry?
Where do you think Cardano stands in the context of this discussion?
On a personal view, I think Cardano is quite not that active. I don't feel Cardano, on a personal note, I think Cardano is not going to bother me.
Quick response on this.
So Cardano, I don't feel as an, so I agree with you. I don't feel as a solution. They are better than Cardano things are there.
But Cardano survived bear markets and has done 100 times as well.
Maybe due to the backing or user base.
Exactly. Previously, people who holded Cardano token, these guys were invested in it. So ideally, they don't want the market to fall because they are invested in it. So they are ideally just pushing it ahead.
Jay?
Their blocks are empty. Like you look at Ethereum blocks or Bitcoin blocks and they're full. Like you gotta pay to skip the line to get ahead of Ethereum. Cardano blocks, they're literally empty. There'll be transactions, like entire blocks with not a single transaction in it. So no one's using it. And if they are using it, it's
But quick response from Prasad before I come.
It's the same thing. So, especially the numbers, right? So, all these layer ones are measured in terms of the 3 metrics. What is the library, the number of tabs, and the number of smart contracts. So, on those numbers, that's the decline huge.
Yeah, but a lot of projects are trying to get it out there, like Solana, without it being 100% bulletproof. Whereas I feel Cardano is trying to get it right with a long-term vision. They're not racing against anybody. They're taking their time. If blocks are empty right now, they may be empty right now. But the question obviously is, which is a superior layer 1 going forward? So going forward with a 5-year, 10-year vision, and even longer. Not a 2-3 year vision, because what's 2-3 years? A bear market could be 18 to 24 months or more. So that's nothing. So if you look at 5 years or a 10-year vision, somebody who's building something solid with a solid vision, with values, ethics and integrity, which is totally decentralized and which has proved it has a community and has performed and lived through a bear market, must be considered. If you look at interoperability, like you said, so we look at layer zeros, which are proceeding, which are the highways which layer 1s can connect to. What do you guys like? Do you like Cosmos? Do you like Atom? And what do you like now?
I would like to add to this.
Yeah.
See, Atom has an amazing SDK and all the developer focused things. But ideally, I don't see a utility or a functionality for the token out there. See, even if the token was not introduced, okay, the SDK it still could be implemented in some or the other way. I don't see a utility for the Atom token.
It did 100% in the last couple of months between 18,000 and 22,500. Cosmos did 100%. So strength which has been shown by coins in this period in the last 2 or 3 months must be noted.
See, I generally judge tokens or projects based on the FAT protocol. Ideally, what utilities they are adding at the user end, at the commoner's end, what they are able to change is what they will stay in the long term. There might be a 200% return on a token or probably 500%. In the long run, there should be a utility that should be accessible to everyone. That then you are solving a problem. Then you have a community that can support you. Even though there are returns, see, anyone can create a token now. I can really create a token in just 5 minutes and make it scalable and list it on an exchange in 3 months. It's when it comes to getting returns, I don't see it in terms of monetary aspects. It comes when a big project is being implemented on their chain. Suppose Polygon recently collaborated with the Indian police to host all the police records, all the criminal records and everything on the blockchain. That is one of the huge use cases. If that is not availability for commoners in the commoner side, I don't think there is anything else.
Yeah, so usability is one of the major aspects, like going forward as these metaverses are evolving and the things are coming into the market. So and people are like, I know like from onwards, after these things are happened, people will be very choosy. The thing which is has usability, the tokens which has certain value, is it with couple of projects which has some future, people will see that those kind of tokens. I guess so in that way, like Atmos has that one of the part with couple of projects, but not the bigger one.
Well, if we look at Ethereum and the fact that the points were made that maximum developers were developing on Ethereum, then a true test of whether layer 1 is going to survive and stand the test of time in these situations is what is a developer activity and on which blockchain currently, on which layer 1. And developer activity is known currently on certain blockchains and is a good indicator of how many people are actually building and what kind of things are being built and where. So adding
one point into that.
Yeah.
So Ethereum is also taking care of it. They have created some Ethereum Foundation, whereas they have a project where they wanted to help developer also. Most of the time developer develops something but he doesn't got the kind of like when he creates the kind of money he requires, he doesn't require. So Ethereum is right now in the kind of like in the process where they wanted to create a projects where each and every developers can be fruitful and they at least got some sort of money. And I think that if that would happen, if that is what happening, developers would definitely stuck on Ethereum itself.
Yes, but then obviously it's not a one horse show, is it? I mean the whole point is crypto is growing, and there's L1s that exist that are fully functional. There are some that are planning to be operational in the future, but developer activity currently, as of today, is a good test to see, okay, where's the action happening? So what Ethereum has done, what it has done in the last 5 years. But who's adding to it, who can potentially do what Ethereum has done, right? So that's what people are looking for from an investment perspective as well. That they know that, okay, if a person invests in Ethereum, they're expecting a certain return. In Bitcoin, they're expecting a certain return. But what's the next solid, bulletproof layer 1, which can actually fetch those kind of returns or close to those kind of returns. Near protocol has about 2,000 projects building on it, doesn't it? Jay? No?
I don't know.
Okay, so Near has about 2,000 projects building on it. Dot is currently maximum developer activity in the entire crypto universe, with 3,247 projects actually being built on it, and is decentralized and is by the co-founder of Ethereum, Gavin Wood, who's now stepped out as CEO and said he doesn't want to be the CEO. He's not the CEO. So again, moving towards decentralization. It totally and fully operational and projects being built. Just some names I'm throwing up. Avalanche as well. Any of these that you guys like or you think that are going to be around in the future?
My issues with a lot of the layer zeros is the hacks. We've seen how many bridges go down this year where, oh, we can bridge from Tron to this, we can bridge from ETH to this. I saw 4 or 5, 7, 8, 9 figure bridge hacks because they were able to bridge tokens that aren't supposed to be bridged. Chains are supposed to stay on their chain. You don't take a car and fly it in the air. You don't put a plane on the ground driving on the highway. So people trying to do both run into a lot of issues, and those tech issues cost plenty of people a lot of money. So I'm not one for building the bridge between chains, I'm one for building a chain that's functional.
Okay, good point. So that brings the hack aspect brings into focus security, which is super important going forward. Even with what's happened in the last with Luna and in the last 6 months in crypto as well, with FTX as well. So security, we're talking about decentralization, we're talking about security, and we're talking about privacy. Which layer 1 solves the and scalability? Which layer 1 is solving these problems currently? This, yeah, go on.
After Ethereum, I feel Solana. Solana has, in terms of scalability, it's too huge, and their POH and the kind of privacies they wanted to bring. And so, after Ethereum, because as it has VC backing, so the institutional backings also, though it's a centralized one, but I feel, after Ethereum, there might be a Solana.
Solana buy price for VCs was 22 cents. Just a fact I'm stating. They still made a shitload of money. Yeah, go
I would
on.
like to add something. So ideally, I would like to add something to this. Ideally, in terms of privacy, I think Polygon is implementing a ZK EVM testnet. So that is one of the most progressive things that have been implemented in terms of privacy. So Zero Knowledge Protocol is one of the amazing things that is out there for any developer to implement, showcasing the necessary data and hiding all the unnecessary details that is required. So as far as that, in an L2, Polygon is always there for a privacy-based network.
Now we're coming to L2, so we've got your views on L1s. So my point is that the L2s that are building on the L1s have to be built on the right L1. That's going to do well for the L2 to do well, right? Because it's the foundation. If the L1 that the L2 is being built on dies or doesn't do well, then what's the point of the L2? So now you said, Matic, what do you pick as the top 5 L2s?
I'll go to one end.
Or top 3, let's do top 3.
See, for Polygon, so they are doing a tremendous job in terms of everything. Everything, when I say everything, in terms of the scalability part, they are doing good. And bringing the mass adoption in Web3 is entirely driven by them. And in my opening comment, I mentioned about that. So the top 10 projects are the larger brands like Nike, Adidas, Meta, Reddit. All these projects, those huge user base are onboarded by Polygon, especially the large fiat, especially in terms of Reddit customers. So that Reddit customers, 3 million was entirely onboarded to Web3 just through Polygon. So that's a kind of thing they are doing a tremendous job, and they are paving the way in terms of getting Web3 adoption into Web2 space. Of course, they are playing with the major use case of NFT marketplace. Out of 10 larger brands, 8 of the brands, the only use case is NFT marketplace at this moment. And they have cracked the right spot and making the adoption faster. And for me, they are the one at this moment who is driving the entire thing.
Okay, any other?
Others, I would say like Arbitrum is doing some jobs, but for me, it's still Polygon.
Okay, Jay?
I personally don't invest in L2s. For me, it's Matic or nothing. Matic held up exceptionally well during this bear market. Matic and BNB outperformed both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and not outperformed, but didn't drop as much. So those are my safe havens if I want to go into not layer 2s, but Matic's a layer 2, BNB's a layer 1, if I want to go into more of the altcoins. But I kind of stay away from them, especially in the bear market.
Yeah. So for some of the aspect, we can say that Polygon, Matic, the kind of projects they are mainly into. But I am kind of L1 guy. I like L1 more because it has that. So it has that reputation. So it's all about the reputations it brings to. So it's L2 is just like a bridge, and maybe some people can be disagreeing, but I certainly believe that once the Ethereum 2.0 will come, I guess many L2s will be gone.
Exactly.
See, I totally agree with him. Ideally, once the dust clears out, L1s are going to exist unless there is a huge user base that is already there, and every day they are using those applications. very rare that L2 cans exist. Even you're saying that even if they are built on a network that's not truly scalable and they're making it scalable, then yeah, L2 can exist. But as far as this is concerned, L1s once they are scalable enough through hard forks or soft forks, initially they will be the ones to come out of the industry, out of this all that exists now.
So besides Matic, you also don't pick any other L2? Or you don't even pick Matic?
I would put Matic as the winner in an L2 ideally.
And nothing else?
Nothing else.
Alright, audience, any questions?
Yes, we do have. That's where I was standing. We already have a question from that side. Who wanted to ask a question? Yes.
Yeah, hi. So you were talking about the developer activity, and I'm glad you made that point about Polkadot being the highest in the developer activity and what is going on over there. I mean, it's kind of sad, like how people don't even talk about the.
Can you hold your mic near so we can't hear you?
Okay, fine. So it's kind of sad, like how people don't talk about the security aspect of the on the Ethereum. When you talk about the rugs and all the hacks which has been happening for quite some time, and I do understand from a point like why Ethereum is still the number one holder of the rank. But given the fact, I don't think so. It's secure enough as a chain. And not that scalable. Right now, you just mentioned that the gas fees right now is just $1 or $2. Once the gas war starts again, once the NFTs and all those things will start again, it's gonna shoot to $200, $300, same thing. Because you guys are gonna sit and wait for Ethereum 2.0 to come, and which is not gonna happen for another 3 years. So how do you feel that Ethereum is still going to scale at that level once against the gas war starts? As of now, okay, it's $1, $2. But what happens when again it's going to shoot to $200, $300 for a single mint?
I think we'll see exactly what we saw this year. As the gas wars occurred and they shot through the moon, a lot of projects stopped launching on Ethereum and started launching on Solana. So I think you're going to see the exact same thing. Projects aren't going to launch on Ethereum while there's this huge cost to mint. Once that cost to mint drops, you'll see projects start to mint on Ethereum again. I've noticed a significant pause in the last 6 months on projects minting on Ethereum, but not on Solana. I still see projects minting every single day on Solana, and in my opinion, Solana could be under $5 in like a month, just because 60% of the tokens are held by now bankrupt funds that are going to have to liquidate. So Solana has major issues, even though it solved a lot of Ethereum's problems, just from a financial standpoint.
Yeah, and that's one aspect of it, like because it's heavily invested in the FTX, and if not Solana, then what? If not Solana, then what?
Why did you would expect an L1 or an L2?
Why not an L0?
Sorry?
Why not an L0? I mean, you guys are talking about L1s and L2s, why not an L0?
See, as far as the usability and anything is concerned, L1 and L2s are the clear winners out there. And user adoption also.
Polkadot is an L0, by the way.
Sorry?
Polkadot is an L0.
So L0s wouldn't even exist if we didn't have L1s. L0s, the only purpose is to link L1s together. So to say that L0 should be like the predominant one, that doesn't even make sense because you can't have layer 0 unless you have layer 1, 1, 1, 1 that it's linking. So L0s are a good idea, but you have to have a whole bunch of layer 1s.
Exactly, that system is out there. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Polkadot ecosystem has a concept of parachains which runs on the L0, on the layer 0 is the Polkadot, and on top of that you have multiple parachains running on that, and all those parachains are connected to relay chains. So I mean, I would be glad to if you guys can go and explore that.
You're ideally talking about Polkadot, right?
Yes.
So what do you see in Polkadot that you feel that we should explore?
Shared security. The chains which are launching on Polkadot, they need not worry about the security aspect of the chain because Polkadot shares the shared security from the Polkadot network itself. So the person or the projects which are building on the Polkadot, they don't have to worry about the security aspect of it. Secondly, the interoperability. So all the chains can interact in between.
In terms of interoperability, maybe if you can Google it out, you will get to know that there are so many projects which is failed of interoperability of Polkadot. So the numbers are also there. So we still not achieved that range of interoperability where you say that okay, this is the layer which is solving this interoperable problem. So this might be one of the chance, but still Polkadot has to grow more first, and so in the future it might be, but right now as we see the trends going on and the kind of and it's also found out that when the transactions so it's just like how much, like 10,000 transactions per second Polkadot, like so, and it's also in the news that when the transactions exceeded it's not able to. So I think it's about the trust of the people.
That's not correct. What you're saying that the chain stop or something like that. That's not correct. I will defend on that point.
Ideally, you're talking about Polkadot, right? Why do you think the other chains are less privacy focused? Because there are
chains. A highly centralized chain. It went down for 8 times in the last year. It went blackout. So what do you call that? BNB is highly centralized chain. Where is the decentralization over there? Polygon has still all the keys within the single multi-sig where all the founders, they hold the keys for that particular chain. They have never responded to those questions till today. Where is the decentralization?
See, I get what you're saying, but do you use DAO? Do you use one platform on DAO right now?
Yes, there are so many.
I'm asking, do you use one?
I am from one of the projects from the Polkadot itself.
See, I've been in crypto for 5 years, and I use a lot of different platforms, a lot of different wallets. I have not used one on DAO. I don't know how many people in this audience use DAO, but if they're
because there's not marketing like that. I accept that point.
You can't have a blockchain without marketing, and you can't have a blockchain without
because they are building the product. Okay, let me ask one very basic question over here. Who invented Solidity? Who invented Solidity language?
Gavin Wood, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm big on Polkadot. I know what you're talking about in terms of security. I know the kind of projects which are being built and which are currently operational on Polkadot, on Kusama as well.
Exactly.
I think that's tremendous
Not only that, who wrote the EVM chain? Who wrote the EVM basically? It was Gavin Wood. So I don't see a point where like
I don't understand the point of your question.
The point is like the guy who created the stuff saw the flaw in the chain and then he moved on to create something more robust in nature. And if you speak about people say people will bring up the point that he stepped down from the CEO position and all those things. So he is basically a techie and he is not a businessman, which Vitalik is very good at. He is a combination of both tech and business. And that's one of the reasons why Ethereum rocketed after that, once they left from the foundation.
So you're saying he left Ethereum to make DAO better and fix Ethereum's issues?
Exactly.
My counter argument is, I don't think so. I think he could have solved Ethereum's issues on Ethereum, but chose to launch DAO to make another 50, 100, 200 million.
It's not about the money, it's not about the money game.
Says who?
It's not about the money.
Time out. These guys launched blockchain projects because they made billions. Otherwise, Vitalik would have given away everything. SBF would have given away everything. Everything about crypto is about making the money. So if you're launching one project like Ethereum, and then pivoting to a second project at equal scale, you might be solving something and pitching it that way to the public so they believe that. But the reality is you just raise yourself another $100 million to convince the public.
If that was the case, they would have been marketing it like crazy, right? They are not marketing, they are building.
It's because he's pocketing the money.
What?
It's not marketing like crazy because the CEO is using the money.
They are building, that's why. They are not bothered about the marketing aspect of it. Right? They are building this stuff. You only market when you are bothered about
Excuse me,
anyhow.
I think you're running out of time.
I think you have lost focus from your question. You started.
Are you from Polkadot? Are you from Polkadot? Yes, so I mean, and your role in Polkadot is?
I'm from Kit.
Okay, you're from Kit. Okay, So Guild is decentralized identity, right? Yeah. And Guild is India-based institute. Berlin? Okay, great. Yeah, there's buzz around Guild. We're currently in the middle of a bear market, but there are tremendous projects which are being built. I can just say this from my personal experience that those who don't know about Polkadot haven't gone in and investigated into what's actually being built. If you go in and investigate, you may discover something new, which will open your eyes. But definitely a pick for the future.
Manish, we have another question.
Okay, go on.
Hi. I'm Prasad. My question is, given the geopolitical scenario our country is going through with Pakistan and China, where they are sworn in enemies, they'll try to do anything to destabilize the country by various actions. That one of the major actions is terror financing. For example, when cryptocurrency when the bull run was happening, China immediately banned entire cryptocurrency and they launched their own CDBC, that is digital yuan. And now the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, is also working on CDBC, trying to bring in a digital cryptocurrency for the country, so that we don't stay behind in the race of cryptocurrency and the blockchain universe. That's what the government is trying to do. Yeah. So, what is the future of the blockchain and cryptocurrency in India, where the entire blockchain and the crypto universe is the basic foundation is decentralization? When governments are imposing heavy direct ban on this, and they are bringing in their CDBCs, they are going to, end of the day, going to promote CDBCs. For example, now there are cigarettes. There are no smoking. Nobody is going to see that and stop smoking. People are still going to smoke, but the only thing what the government is going to do is not promote smoking, but they will leverage high taxes on it and will make money because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So what's your take on this? On what is the future hold for blockchain and crypto universe in India?
Who wants to take this? Okay, go on.
See, in terms of India, let them start doing something, okay? Because we need some starting point somewhere. So I will connect my answer to his earlier question also about layer 1, layer 2 or something. I see the entire ecosystem as some adoption, Web3 adoption. So somewhere something have to start. Everywhere there are flaws. There are flaws with layer 1, flaws with layer 2, and whatever it happens, people are trying, experimenting it, and it will take some years to adopt it and better the things. Now, similarly, I am coming to this point of view of CBDC as well. Government let them start. So whatever, see, for crypto they started at least, they didn't ban the crypto, they started the taxation part. So CBDC also, they will start and they will understand what are the current use cases that is going to be with the CBDC. But no one can deny that the other chains, public chains will be always there. CBDC, let it be there. Let them start something. That's only my point of view.
Anyone else want to say something?
See, as of now, regulations in India are in a grey area. They want to make a quick buck out of whatever people are trading. Indian government has to make a cut out of it. But as far as the regulatory standpoint for introducing digital currency still exists, because as you told, there is direct financing, there are other kinds of shady deals that happen. But in a common standpoint of view, there is a bigger pool of people who want that kind of where there is no problem with centralization, there is no involvement of centralization, where peer-to-peer transactions can happen, where open data policies can happen. So there is a space where a certain pool can stay centralized and certain tasks can be decentralized. You should understand why there is a need for decentralization for something. Ideally, if you want to decentralize everything, that's not the goal. So ideally, these are two different pools. When it comes to direct financing and everything, it should go, any regulatory body should make keep their eyes on these kinds of things, since it's open and transparent. But still, make sure that there is no problems that are happening in India. And there should be open decentralization also in the other side.
Maybe partial or hybrid centralizations also coming into the market where some of the parties, as you said, centralized and the identities and all might be decentralized. So in that way, I guess the government will work because government has to import, come up with these kind of coins to be in the market, as you said.
I think the question to ask is the government, whether Indian or international, for the people or not? Because that's the basic tenet of democracy. For the people, of the people, by the people. So is the government for the people? Are the actions of the government in the interest of the people and for the people or not? You answer that question, you think about it, you know the answer already. And if it's not, then are we really living in a democracy? CBDCs, just to take that thing, is also another way for governments to get in and control everything, and they can block anybody's bank account and freeze anybody's funds at any time for any violation, for not towing the line. That's a threat as well. So I think, taking your question, moving forward from your question and what we've discussed and the current stage as well, we're in the middle of a bear market. We discussed yesterday, we're 75% down already. Historically, Bitcoin has gone as low as 85%, so we may be close, we may be 3,000 to 4,000 points close to the bottom, given the fact that it's a macro situation. But then it's all the more important that the right projects, the credible projects, you spoke about crypto being a place where everybody just wants to make money, but it's also a place of innovation, of growth, of hope for the future, for people beyond a particular country, of each country and people of the world. So now, is crypto going to achieve its vision? For crypto to achieve its vision and for it to grow into what it can grow to, it's important that the solid projects, the ones that lay the foundation, the ones like Ethereum, and projects with integrity and decentralized projects survive. I guess the bear market will show, will separate the wheat from the chaff, and we'll see what survives. But crypto needs the good guys. It needs the good guys. It needs the guys with vision. It needs the guys doing the right thing and taking decentralization forward. And because that is hope, and that's where all the growth is coming from. On that note, thank you so much, all of you, for being on the panel. You've been brilliant. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, please a big round of applause for everyone. And thank you